So let's take a look at precious metals, buying, countries involved, that kind of thing. Take a little peek here, what we got going on. Gold imports by India climb for first time in 6 quarters. Australia reports also its gold exports to China, China being the big buyer we all know, are up 900 or 9 times the norm in 2012. 900% increase of exports to China, gold specifically. Wow. And they said gold imports by India are expected to rise to 200 tons in quarter 4 of this year. Silver Doctor says, while the West continues to dump its physical silver, the East continues to stack the smack and bring it home by the truckload. Gold imports by India, the world's largest buyer, of course China has a lot more ferocious of an appetite overall, are set to climb for the first time in 6 quarters as a decline in domestic bullion prices stokes jewelry and investment demand ahead of major festivals. So that's one thing. What else we got going on over here? We have something interesting, couple things actually. Let's see. Where do I start? Yeah, I got a second video to do. Massive increase in Chinese panda, those 1-ounce coins that the world just loves. Pay a pretty hefty premium, by the way, for those pandas. 1-ounce silver coins from China, those silver panda. Massive increase in Chinese silver panda demand. In less than 2 years, again, thanks to our boys over at Silver Doctors for keeping track of this stuff. In less than 2 years, the Chinese mint has increased the production of its 1-ounce silver Chinese panda 1,233%, from $600,000 a year minting of these, 600,000 of them per year, to 8 million recently, as in 2012. Even though this is certainly a massive increase in just 2 short years, this may only be the beginning of something really big that is being planned by the Chinese mint. That's what his comments are. According to Luis Golino's article, China strives to make silver panda as popular as American silver eagles. We have just begun to see how many silver pandas the Chinese plan on minting. If we take a look at the chart below, we can see that the Chinese panda silver production figures have increased substantially since 2012, or since 2010. And it's exactly what I just told you about the 1,233% higher. So I'm not going to edit this video or add the little thing to the background right now. I don't have time for silly games. You already know this. You already know there's massive demand. But damn, the price was $34.35. They knocked it down to $32.50. And man, I don't know. That old silver, man, must not be a good thing to get into. Even though giant governments are doing it. Gold and silver. Buying it by the truckload, as they say. So, there's no slowdown of purchases of precious metals. As a matter of fact, these numbers show and prove there's more appetite than before, and then more appetite before that. So, when we meet this little peak or climax of this whole thing, where paper market says the price is this, yet no one can get deliveries because there's none around, no physical around in the vaults that these exchanges claim to have, versus the appetite coming in to buy these things, such as the gold and silver, them not be able to produce it on their futures contracts on the COMEX and the LBMA. I can't wait to see how it goes down, because my gut tells me they wouldn't dare let a catastrophic event happen to prove us right. They would shut those entities down somehow prior to make them either, best case scenario for them, have some event. Again, Iran took down the COMEX. Iran's government programmers took down the COMEX and the LBMA. And we can no longer trade gold and silver, so everyone that had a paper contract, you're just going to kind of get money back. And there's no more trading. Or at least we're not setting the price by that anymore. That's one thing that could happen. And then, of course, we'd have a real true free market, and I couldn't imagine where the prices would go. Unbelievably high. Or the other option, I think, would be you can no longer demand delivery. Wall Street, COMEX, all these guys, LBMA, starting right now or 60 days in the future, whatever. New rule just passed, right? You love how they changed the rules in mid-game. They just come out where you're no longer allowed to demand delivery. No longer gold and silver, only oil and all, or not oil, but commodities such as other commodities like food and things, wheat. Yeah, you can demand delivery on some of that stuff, but you can't demand delivery on gold and silver. That would enable them to move the price wherever they wanted to. Plain and simple. That would be the only thing that they could do. The only problem is I don't know that there's any kind of legality of them changing the rule to that effect, where all these people who had a contract all of a sudden are told you can't demand delivery in 60 days. That would maybe would that cause a sell-off? Not necessarily. I don't know the legality of that, though, if they could really do that and say, you can demand delivery on all these other things, but you can't do it for gold and silver. The other issue is that's still in the back burner of my mind was the alleged massive increase in margin requirements for the whole commodities arena, all commodities, including gold and silver, but everything else too. That was supposed to happen back in September or August, early August. Now it got postponed for 90 days or whatever it was, 60 days, 90 days, and then no word, no real mention of anything. Oh, we're gonna get another 60-day extension or so. So then the latest extension basically puts it after the elections. So are they going to allow the market to dive? I mean the whole stock market to dive after the elections? Again, that's the most perfect time to do it because you can't. It's in the interim period. You can't really blame anybody, kind of thing. It's not them. It certainly is not Romney's fault. It's kind of Obama's fault because he's kind of still in charge, even though he's going to be stepping out in another couple months. But he held it together the whole time anyway, so you can't really blame him. Then they could dump that margin requirement after the market crashes, and there's a massive sell-off in the stock market as well as commodities, which means gold and silver would get slammed. And then they could come out and say, now we're implementing this margin requirement rule for all commodities because everything just got destroyed, deflation just smashed everything, we're starting over kind of thing. So now implement that new rule change. Perfectly timed. Then you will also know, hey, that's why they postponed this 2 times in a row at the CME group, thanks to the CFTC. They postponed this on purpose because they knew this was going to happen, which would make them complicit, of course. And that would be enough proof probably to bring a case, I think. Possibly. In a jury trial, I think you could go somewhere with that. But, at the same time, something can happen that could just, a left field kind of thing that just destroys their whole process and prices skyrocket. I was just listening to Cliff High's update, his little video, his Wujo things that he does periodically. It was like an hour long. I didn't listen to all of it, but he mentioned gold and silver. Man, you better be stacking. That's plain as I can get. You better be stacking, regardless of the short term, whatever happens, whether they slam the market, whether they don't, whether it goes straight up. The ultimate, not too far distant future is that these prices are definitely going up. Whether they smash them first is irrelevant, because if they smash them first, it'll be like I've been saying, when they do a big number, and if they do a big number and smash on them hard, the prices, it's going to be the last time you have an opportunity to buy gold and silver at whatever they smash it to. That's if we're lucky, they'll smash it, as a matter of fact, as crazy as that sounds. If we're not lucky and they don't smash it, you're stuck at seeing the prices where they're at right now, and they're only going to go up, generally, whatever from here. I'm not talking about the day-to-day crap. Generally, month after month, the price is going to end up probably rising. Whether that happens or not, whether they crash the market or not. So, bonus, they crash the market, and then it goes back up. Not bonus, it doesn't get crashed like they wanted at all, and it just starts going up anyways. Either way, silver under $100 an ounce is a buy, period. So, that's all I got for you. And I'm going to do this other video real quick.